Good morning, everyone. My name is Hiba Al and today I'm here to talk about an inspiring figure in the history of women's rights, Susan B. Anthony. Susan Brownell Anthony became one of the most visible leaders of the women's suffrage movement. Along with Elizabeth Cady Stanton, she traveled around the country delivering a speech in favor of women's suffrage. Susan P. Anthony was born in February 15, 1820, in Adams, Massachusetts. From an early age, Anthony was inspired by the Quaker belief that everyone was equal under God. That idea guided her throughout her life. She had 7 brothers and sisters, and many of whom become activities for justice and emancipations of slaves. Susan B. Anthony played a pivotal role in the equal representations of women in the political process. Let's delve into her remarkable journey. She stood for the women's rights in that time when women were just considered to be at home and doing only household chores. They were not given any right, nor did they know about their right. Even when the world around her believed that, Susan B. Anthony stood up. She wanted to change things for women. She fought for their right when no one else was. Today we remember her as a trailblazer, showing us that it's okay to challenge what people think. Susan's story is like a spark that ignited a fire for a woman's right. It's a reminder that even when things seem tough, one person's courage can make a big difference. Susan B. Anthony, a pioneer for women's rights in 19th century America, she marks a transformative character in the history of women in the United States as she fought resolutely against discriminatory practice. She raised her voice for their representation, encouraged them to disobey the government's unjust policies, and made sure the women in the country were treated equally. I took these informations from page 178, 179 about understanding background of Susan B. Anthony. Let's start with a glimpse into social conditions of American society in 19th century. It was a chaotic and disordered society marked by upheavals and cries for justice. During this disaster, Susan B. Anthony emerged as a driving force for equality, becoming a significant name in the women's suffrage movement. Especially after Civil War, she understood the dire need for advocating the right of oppressed women in the United States. I took these informations from page number 178 about her history. Moving on, Susan B. Anthony believed in a perfect equality for men and women. She once said in an article in the one of the famous newspaper at that time, Revolution, she said, "Men, their right and nothing more. Women, their right and nothing less." She promoted divide and rule without discriminatory practice, and collaborated with influential figures like Elizabeth Stanton, Lucretia Mott, and Frederick Douglass. She made this partnership to enhance the impact of her stance and also to bring positive outcome from her struggles. She appealed to the court, commissioners, and marshals to end the discriminations based on sex. Anthony's argument for equality were rooted in the notion that all individuals are created equal and endowed with the inalienable right. Quoting, "To secure these rights, government are instituted among men, driving their just power from the consent of the governed." Therefore, she emphasized women's right to vote and elect leader of their choice. Her effort revolved around the just representation of the women in the country. To ensure this, she started her movement with a fight to gain the right to vote for the women. These informations are located in page number 180. Focusing on the underrepresentations of women in politics, Anthony questioned utilities of law made predominantly by men, implemented by men, and interpreted by men. She believed that women could only attain justice by violating unjust law themselves, asserting it as the natural right of every individual to participate in decision making. She once clearly said this in her speech in 1877. She said, "There can never be complete equality until women themselves help to make law and elect lawmakers." As the citizen of any state, it is the Republican right of everyone to present their insight and thought on a border level. This can ensure the equitable creations of society. Refer to page 178 for more information about this. Examining civil and political degradations faced by women and Africans in America, Anthony highlighted the challenges including military and physical punishment. Discriminations based on sex, race, or complexions was prevalent. She struggled to end the difference by promoting collectivism and equalities. I took this information from page number 181. Now, resistance against injustice became a central theme in Anthony's advocacy. She said that public oppositions to law imposing contradictory moral and civil principles is crucial to maintaining the peace in society. She aimed to promote Republican rights against all the odds and urged people not to spare their right to justice and freedom of expression. Moving on to Susan B. Anthony trial, where she was imprisoned just for participating in the elections that were held in 1872. She criticized law benefiting only men and resisted the restriction of women from the decision-making process. Her imprisonment for voting in the presidential election symbolized her commitment to challenging unjust norms. These informations are located in page number 179. Highlighting Anthony's active involvement in the suffrage movement, she co-founded the American Equal Rights Association with the collaborations of Elizabeth Stanton. She called for active campaigns for the inclusions of women in the political endeavors in the 15th Amendment. She motivated the suppressed group to raise their voice for their just legal and civic rights. I found these informations that I just said from the introductory lines. Anthony appeals for equality, focused sorry. Anthony appeals for equality, focused in ensuring women participations in the political process, criticizing the underrepresentations of women in the government. She struggled to end unfavorable practice imposed on a people like taxation without any just representation. As she said in one of her letters to Lucy Stone, who was known for her work in anti slavery and women's rights. She wrote this letter in 1853: Independence is happiness. Anthony was strongly committed to continuing the battle for the ballot, targeting the women in the United States, urging citizens, commissioners, jurists, and judges to contribute to just and equitable society. She made active involvement in getting the deserved dignity for women in the United States. She used a persuasive language and a statistical tool, stressing that the true role of interpretations under our national constitution is that anything for human rights is constitutional and everything against the human rights unconstitutional. She made sure that not a single inhuman action was imposed on the women. I took these informations from page 182, and there's also more information about solutions and evidence that support them. Here I just post some quotes that she said, and I would really like to share them with you. First, I declare to you that women must not depend upon the protections of man, but must be taught to protect herself, and there I take my stand. I distrust those people who know so well what God wants them to do, because I know it's always coincide with their own desires. Organize, agitate, educate must be our war cry. Lastly, no man is good enough to govern any woman without her consent. In conclusion, Susan B. Anthony's unwavering spirit, strong commitment, and bold legacy have left an everlasting impact. Her journey served as a source of inspirations for today's youth, especially women who want to empower themselves in a patriarchal society. She once said before she died, I wish live another century and see frustrations of all the work for women. When she died on March 13, 1906, at the age of 86 from heart failure and pneumonia, women still did not have the right to vote. It was not until 1920, which is 14 years after her death, that the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, giving all adult women the right to vote, was passed, largely spearheaded by Anthony's successor as a president of the National American Women's Suffrage Association. Suzanne's story reminds us that no matter where we come from or who we are, we have the strength to stand up for what's right. She believed in a world where everyone, regardless of gender, should have the same right. She was such embodiment to follow. So let's take a lesson from Susan P. Anthony and keep fighting for equality and justice, making our own mark in the world. I would like to thank you all for listening. I hope I covered enough about Susan Anthony's life and what she sought to achieve justice. I wish you a nice rest of the day. Thank you.